A glittering saw buzzes as it emerges from the side of the chair. Before you have time to cry out, it slices off the pinky, ring, and middle finger of your left hand. Blood begins to gush from the open wounds in your left hand. You don't even feel pain, you just feel cold.
I must be in shock.
A part of you analyzes the situation with detached aloofness.
I better stop the blood flow before it kills me.
You remove your shirt, made from a thick material, and deftly wrap it around the 3 missing fingers.
I chose vulnerability on each slide, which means one of them attacked me.
You have a pretty solid idea of who your primary culprit is.
I knew I shouldn't have trusted that guy.
You hiss through gritted teeth as you finish your makeshift tourniquet.
Time to show him what a real attack looks like.
You stand from the death trap and move outside. The other 3 players you played against exit the pods as well. You all face each other. Alice is clutching her left hand. Blood trickles between her fingers. It seems she is missing her pinky finger. She managed to staunch the bleeding with some sort of cloth she must have had on her person. The dog limps up, whimpering and holding its paw up. A trail of blood leads back to the pod it apparently came from.
He doesn't have any way to stop the bleeding.
You realize, step forward to share your shirt-turned bandage. Alice gives a nod and moves with you to comfort the dog.
Easy, boy,
she says in a soothing manner, holding the dog's paw. Her green eyes dart up at you.
We need something to properly wrap this. He's bleeding too much.
You hold up your arm with the shirt wrapped around it to the dog's face.
Can you tear off part of this with your teeth? That way we can both use it.
Do you have anything useful?
Alice asks the clone without warmth. The dog finishes tearing the shirt and then turns to Alice.
He's going to have a special tool as reward for attacking your friend.
You look down at your wounded hand, blood soaking the half of your shirt bandage not given to the dog.
You're saying it wasn't you?
You ask the dog as you finish tying off the torn half-shirt around his paw. The dog sighs and shakes his head mournfully.
Oh, it's pretty obvious what happened if you count the missing fingers. Alice and I are both missing 1 digit. That can only happen from a mutual attack against someone. Our blonde friend is missing 2 fingers, which means 2 mutual attacks.
The dog looks at you with a canine expression of sorrow and chagrin.
You, new friend, lost 3. If you look at everyone else, you can tell this was from a one-sided attack.
You're one clever dog, the man says, looking at the 3 of you with an animalistic intensity. He absently rubs his left hand, where he had made a makeshift bandage for his 2 missing fingers. Alice's face whitens. She stares down at her missing pinky in horror.
So, the blonde man, he attacked me when I chose vulnerability?
She begins to tremble. The dog gives you an exasperated stare.
Is your friend slow?
He asks you in a not quite hushed enough tone.
He's got the tool now,
she says, not seeming to notice her mistake, her voice trembling but laced with anger.
He played the game and won, and now he's the one with the advantage.
That's a good point,
you say as you stand to face the blonde man.
What sort of tool were you given? Was it worth attacking all 3 of us?
The man bares his teeth in an expression unlike a smile or a snarl. It seems entirely unhuman.
Oh, the tool was just a happy coincidence. The attacks were to defend myself.
He reaches towards the small of his back and levels a 6-shooter revolver at you.
Something I'm willing to do now. Defend yourself?
You glance from your maimed hand to the clone man with seething incredulity.
Is that what you call this? You left me for dead once before,
he says with a flash of anger that makes you start.
I had no reason to believe you wouldn't try it again.
The pieces fall together in a sickening realization.
This isn't just a clone. This is one of the 5 from downstairs. He must have survived somehow.
Alice takes a slow, careful breath and steps in front of you, her voice steady but measured.
Listen to me.
She says, keeping her hands visible, making no sudden movements.
I did it. You think we turned on you, that we left you behind. But you survived. You made it here. That means something.
You don't talk anymore! He snarls and fires a shot at you. You flinch as the bullet whizzes past you and explodes into the cylinder behind. I'm talking now, he says, regaining his thin facade of calm. This guy running this place, I know how he thinks, see? And it's my job to explain the next test. He nods behind him to the far wall with 2 doors. Through those doors are going to be 2 different puzzles. They're going to require the cooperation of 2 people each, meaning we're going to have to split up into 2 teams of 2. I have the gun, so I get to pick the teams, understand? He waves the gun lackadaisically at the dog. You got a name, Fido? The dog stiffens before responding.
Boltitude,
The dog says meekly. No kidding, the clone says with a raised eyebrow. Well, Mr. Boltitude, you're coming with me. He motions the dog forward with the barrel of his gun.
Just like that? He attacks me, gets a gun to wave around, and just like that we lose the chance to choose?
Mr. Boltitude looks at you with a desperate plea and lets out a soft whimper. No, you still have a choice. The gun complicates things, raises the stakes, but you still have a choice to make. You still have a chance to change the course of events. Do you A. Do as the man says and leave Mr. Boltitude with the clone and into the room with Alice? B. Rush the man and attempt to knock the gun from his hands, or at least distract him long enough for the others to escape? Or C. Use the mind control phrase on Alice, order her to distract the clone while you escape with Mr. Boltitude. The choice is yours.